Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Mr. Cornell Ford, who is a person that you should know. Mr. Ford is a writer and also a filmmaker from Chicago, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Greetings, Mr. Ford.
How you doing, Dr. Brooks?
We're very happy that you've taken time, literally from your busy schedule, to be with us on a community forum to let Lake County know who you are. Mm-hmm. Lake County is approximately 750,000 people, but the Comcast studio, the Comcast audience, about 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. But in addition to Comcast audience here, we have an audience in Chicago, which is CAN TV, and we also have an audience in Wisconsin, Time Warner, mm-hmm. And also we have other areas, Highland Park and Lake Forest. And by the way, Community Forum is shown all over the world. Our listening audience, they would tune in to drbrooks.tv. They can watch it in Australia and Europe and all over. But here, we want you to tell us a little bit about your personal and professional background.
Well, first, thank you for having me on your show again. Dr. Brooks, it's been about 3 years since the last time I came, when I was debuting my second feature film, Let's Shake on It. Mm-hmm. So a lot has been going on since 2013 mm-hmm. with myself, with writing and filmmaking. What I have coming up is my third feature film. It's entitled Eyes from Eden. It's debuting November the 22nd at the Genesee Theater in Waukegan. And I'm very proud of this project, just one of the many I've been doing since the last we talked in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell our listeners, what piqued your interest in to become a writer and a filmmaker?
Just the ability to know that I could just pick up a pen, pad, or get in front of a laptop and jump outside of the reality that I currently live in and make up my own. Mm-hmm. And even if I want to express the craft further, I can take it a step further and create a film or a movie about it.
Now, was that something in high school, your high school curriculum, that kind of encouraged you to become a writer and filmmaker?
Not in high school. When I was in high school, it was more or less sports for me.
Okay.
It was all about sports, man. I mean, I was really hard into sports when I was in high school. But not in high school so much so in terms of like anything movie-wise and stuff. I've always been creative because I used to do music a lot and stuff. So I guess maybe when you think about creativity, mm-hmm. just the naturation of just wanting to be creative, just wanting to try something different. You know, maybe that high school essence, just as music and just having fun and stuff mm-hmm. like that, maybe just transferred over to something more of a different craft.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting for those listening because when I graduated from high school at 17, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. But what I tell my students mm-hmm. in daycare that be the best that you can be, mm-hmm. and where it's because you never know. God planted everyone here for a purpose. Mm-hmm. No one is here by accident. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what happened? You may be a lifetime trying to find out what your purpose is, but the mm-hmm. sooner you find out what your purpose is, mm-hmm. The better you're going to be. Now, I had no way of knowing that I was going to be a radio and TV host either. Mm-hmm. This came after I retired mm-hmm. from my career. So that you mm-hmm. never know. Mm-hmm. But you have you started out in writing, but in high school you have to have some ability to write something mm-hmm.
that
perk you on to.
Yeah, well, I did some, I used to rap and stuff like that. So when you kind of couple anything that involves, you know, poetry or writing, you know, poems and thoughts and being creative with how you present them and write them down, you know, I guess you can kind of grasp that creative energy from then when you were doing it. I guess I can kind of go back pre-high school. I used to just write a lot. I just used to just write. You know, and then I guess one of my eighth grade teachers used to make us write lines, you know, 1,000-word punishment essays. So I mean, after a while, writing became second nature.
How would you now maybe create an interest among people to participate in film?
Well, in this area, there's a lot of talent. And since my involvement in making music back in like '98, I started to get a lot more serious in 2004. So when I started to do that, I started to run across a lot of people, start to meet people. And to me, I believe I've gained an interest from other people to be in these projects is because while I was working with people for a while, crossing these paths, I noticed certain traits in people that I feel like, you know what, hey, I think you could do something. I got something that, you know, want to check it out, man. You know, let me know in a week if you're okay with it and you think you can do it. You know, because a lot of times people aren't aware that they're capable of doing some stuff. Maybe someone sees something in them, like I try to do a lot of times. You don't have to have no training, stuff like that. So I create an interest, I believe, in just the fact that I'm trying to be active in what I'm doing, and then a lot of people, they just catch on in terms of they believe, okay, he's doing it, maybe I can try to work with him.
You just mentioned there's no training required, but like I mentioned before at the top of the program, everyone is talented. It's up to you to find out just what that talent is. You know, now there must be a lot of time involved in filmmaking, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's no training involved. What I would say is if you haven't done any technical training, like going to school, like that, passion and just wanting to will get you a long way. Just having a desire to want to do it, not waiting on the perfect time to do something, not waiting on if you ain't got enough money for school, depending on something like that. If you really want to go out and do something, just do it. And then you will learn and make the mistakes at the same time. There's no perfect time for stuff like filmmaking. If I wanted to wait for the perfect time, and I probably wouldn't have a couple of films under my belt because I'm waiting on certain things. So I would just say, just go out and do it. That way you'll learn by your persistence in trying to, you know, do it.
I mentioned, you just mentioned passion. I have a passion for the radio and TV. You know, I didn't have any training. I agree with you. No training at all, but I had a major passion. And you have a heavy passion for film writing, right?
Yeah, and the thing with filmmaking for me that's fun is creating it on paper, then going through the process of the preparation. Getting my personnel in order, and a lot of the logistics that go into getting our film production together. And then once I start to get comfortable with my ducks in a row, start wanting to film and getting everything started, it just becomes exciting. It just becomes exciting. So
I have to congratulate you on what you're doing. We mentioned that qualifications, passion for, but let's talk about what you're holding there is one of your movies. Is that one of your? Is that your latest one or your first one?
This is the latest movie that will be releasing November 22nd at the Genesee Theater. It's entitled Eyes from Eden, as you see right here. It's going to be a phenomenal event. It's the story of a church drummer who sacrifices the integrity of his faith to satisfy unfulfilled desires. Okay, so if you've ever in life been tempted by something, this is something that you want to see. Okay, it's been filmed in Waukegan, Zion, and we work with everyone in this particular, in this community on this film. So that's what's going down.
Now, you wrote this yourself. Did you have a staff to work with you, or the staff came later for participating in the success of the play? But you wrote it yourself.
Yes, yes. So the staff that I'm working with, it's not a big staff, but it's a staff that's been with me for the past 10 years since I started. And what we do is we take something that's not really much and just make it grow. Okay. And sometimes you just have to use your ingenuity to make things happen. And so when you don't have a lot, when you don't have a lot, you just have to make use and work well with what you have already.
Well, tell us about you have a T-shirt here that everyone wears.
Yeah, this is just promoting the movie Eyes from Eden. And again, it's going to be a pretty highly anticipated event because we've been working on it for a couple of years. People have been talking about it. People like the trailer. The actors in the film, Dwayne Wilson, Tiana Bennett, Jared Glover, Katara Thomas, and C. Jean Pope of Pope's Florist make this a stellar cast. And again, they're all from Lake County. And that's what makes it special to me.
So you don't have to go all over the country to find talent. You have talent right here. The people didn't even know they had the talent.
Right here. And people, it just takes a spark for someone to say, okay, you know what, I believe this can happen if we do this. Okay, so I felt as though, hey, we got people here, man, people doing theater here. They have been doing theater here for a long time and stuff. So just a void of movie making was needed to be filled. So once I got a hold of something that I felt comfortable with expressing, I just went on for it.
Now, once you have your film completed, how do you market it for people to come see it?
Well, the marketing aspect is pretty much you got to find out what demographic you're trying to target.
Okay.
So that's kind of standard when you're trying to market a film. You just try to figure out what demographic people you're trying to reach. With me, fortunately, by me just being active, when I try to market to people, I keep it in the basic age range from like 18 to 68, 90, whatever. I try to make universal stuff. So when I market, I've gotten better at trying to market material. So reaching out to people via the social media, hand-to-hand with flyers, going into establishments, showing up to venues and events, networking with people or networking events, maybe going out to film festivals and stuff like that, just talking to people, just letting people know that I'm out here. I just do whatever way I can.
Lake County is a prime place for a county for filming because even in Hollywood, because they come out here and use a certain area in Waukegan with Umsted's Highway, quite regularly they come out and use that area for filming.
Yeah, they did Batman there.
Okay.
One of the Batmans there, and then they did another movie called Eagle Eye. But I mean, they did some Chicago Fire there. So it's pretty active. When they came, it was really exciting when they came. It's just like Hollywood came here.
That's amazing, amazing. Well, it's a lot of time involved. How long does it take to film Eyes of Eden? How long would it take?
Well, normally when you have everything that you need in order, I would say it should take no more than about a couple of months.
Okay.
When you got it all together. But when we're working with artists and actors that their primary source is in acting, and you have to make the time to do stuff like this, you just have to work around the scheduling and try as best as possible to shoot in consecutive weeks and consecutive days. So that's one of the things with independent filmmaking, low budget filmmaking, that you don't have control of, is, hey, people got lives. Unless you can provide them with a nice budget that, you know, they can take off days from work, then you're going to be presented with just working with the time that you have and just trying to make the most of it, you know.
You mentioned budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, how do you get funds to for your project?
My own pocket. Shoot, the only way you know, my own pocket, pretty much. Fortunate enough for me, I've also been able to purchase some of the necessary equipment to just freely go out and shoot something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you know, you need that freedom. So, you know, if I had a lot of money, it would probably be easier for me to go out and rent equipment all day long.
Okay.
You understand? So by me being able to just have access to equipment that I can just go out and shoot, that helps me not having a big budget. And I'm obviously trying to reach out to businesses and other establishments for future sponsorship for production. That also helps. So, but yeah, for the most part, it's just my own pocket and just sweat equity.
Well, location is very important too, then, right?
Location is very important. In fact, with Let's Shake on It, we shot, I believe, in about 8 to 9 different locations within the Lake County.
Wow.
You know, Big Edge, Bertrand Bowl. We shot at the Afro Fest. We shot at Family First Center. We shot there. We have a few residents. Rita Mayfield's office, we shot there.
Okay.
And stuff. So location is very important. Fortunately, we get a lot of support in that area when we're starting to do look for our locations.
I wonder, we don't see, you know, a lot of acting in the area, but are high schools making drama available within the high school to place it in the curriculum where youngsters could take part in the drama?
Yeah. North Chicago High School has drama, and Waukegan High School, I believe. But I know for sure North Chicago High School has a drama course. I reached out to the teacher. We tried to think of something, but just time constraints, it didn't work out. So obviously CLC has drama and stuff. So, but me personally, what I try to do is create a situation to where people that are interested in filmmaking or theater and want to be involved in something like that, that they can possibly just get their feet wet. You know, when we create short films, hey, I'll reach out to you, you know, see if you want to be involved in it. So I created a small group called the Lake County Actors Group in 2015 just for that purpose.
Well, how can you get people to develop the passion to participate? Like you say, you have 3 plays that you mentioned. That movie one we talked about, Eyes of Eden, and this is serious film. It's not a comical one, right?
Yeah, this one, it has some comic relief in it, believe it or not, with the seriousness of the content. It has funny moments in it, so you'd be surprised. I mean, just filming the projects one after the other. You know, the consistency. You just have to. When you wake up and you think about something almost every day, then you know that's a passion. You really have to want something already going into something like filmmaking, because you're gonna get turned down. You're gonna have people tell you no. And if you let stuff like that deter you, then you won't be in it too long. But you just have to have a will to want to just succeed, period. You know, to me, success is completion. You complete projects, and then you start to garner attention and learn more. You just got to already have the passion.
Again, which was the first one that you...
My first movie?
Yeah, first movie. Yeah.
My first movie is Music Son. Now, Music Son was my very first, well, actually it was my very first full feature. I did this in 2012. Music Son. And this movie was inspired by a young man named Brandon McGrew, who had worked with me on a couple of short films before. The nature of this is how a young man copes with his mother's death while trying to mend a relationship with his dad, who he felt loved music more than he loved his mom. So we wanted to make something that our aunts, grandmas, mothers can respectfully watch rather than some killing and thugging and like how we was doing. You know, it's just we grew up on this project. So we real proud of this project.
So the passion really is generated. It's not anything learned.
You got to have passion,
innate,
man.
Innate.
So you can attest to it. You knew you had something in you. You just didn't know what it was until you got surrounded by it. Same with me. I didn't know I had a passion for this until I walked into it. And I believe it came from the fact that I love being creative.
Okay, that was the first. What was the second movie you
the second movie
created? Yeah.
Second movie is it's called Let's Shake on It.
Let's Shake on It.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this here was our attempt to bring some comedy relief. Again, we work with some of the best actors and actresses in this area. Jared Glover, Shaquita Blanks, Tia Pratchett, and William Anderson starred in this movie. And this is a movie of how a simple dinner date turned into a life-changing challenge. And it's funny, it also has a Thanksgiving theme to it. It's a great family movie. And it also got picked up by Maverick Entertainment, who's distributing it on Amazon.com. So that was in 2013 when we made that movie.
Your long-range goal, though, is as a filmmaker, is it the Hollywood? We always think of Hollywood, but it's the local filmmaking that's really attract people, right?
Well, to answer your first part of the question, my long-term goal is to make 20 movies and 20 books.
Oh.
I figure within those successions of projects from 20 movies and 20 books, I would have touched somebody. I would have inspired somebody. I would have left a lasting impression of creative works for people to enjoy, learn from. That's my long-term goal, is to leave that.
Okay.
But something that's near and dear to my heart is to try to start something that I can pass on school-wise. I would love to do something like that in the long term after I've exhausted a lot of me creatively. I would love to do that. So that's something that I would definitely want to do.
Tell us about illegal tender that you wrote. I guess this was about 2015.
This was 2015. Now I'm gonna tell you, that's bordering rated X. When it comes to novels, sometimes you take your mind to different places. So I went erotica with this book, which, you know, it's storytelling, it's creative arts.
What's wrong with you,
A
man?
young woman,
I mean, this is a big time.
A highly touted college graduate who now ventures into the world of law and lust. I'll just say that much. So I did it because I thought it would be fun and different. Sometimes you gotta challenge yourself with different tasks if you call yourself an artist. You know, so I wanted to jump into something that was just
starting your drum school and all of that.
What's the difference between a screenplay as opposed to a complete novel?
I wouldn't be here, man. Man, actions speak louder than words.
Okay, we have here. You want to tell us
your
about?
actions is telling me you got something else on your mind. Bro, let me do me, man. That's all you do is you, man. You don't never worry about nobody else. Try that for a change. Man, God worry about everybody else. Don't come at me with no God stuff, dog, because you ain't even about that life. Oh, yeah? What life you about? Living day after day in a box? In a box.
About a minute.
I live in a box. Well, you know what? I live in that box, but you know what? That box that I'm living in is covered by the blood of Jesus, and I'm fine with that. Oh, yeah. So that makes you better than me? No, it don't make me better than you, but it does mean that I'm blessed enough to know that he died for my sins, and that's a privilege that you've been taking for granted. Oh, taking for granted, huh? You seem to know all about that, being the pastor's son. Let me tell you one thing, dog. Hey, I'm a man before anything, so I ain't finna be sitting here letting you insult me. And you can walk with the devil if you want to, but I'm gonna walk by faith and not by sight. And you keep on living this life you living, God gonna leave a sour taste in your mouth, dog. Get off me, man.
Tell us about the tape that showed.
Well, that clip that showed was a point in the movie where the character Donald, the guy with the hat played by Jared Glover, had confronted Carl, which is played by Dwayne Wilson, about him acting different now, because as a person who grew up in a Christian lifestyle, when he's met with temptation, he starts to act different and change, and so he confronted him after like a band practice that was going on. He wanted to talk to him about some things, and it got kind of heated.
You know, you're writing a book and you're doing screenplay, and do you ever get burned out? You know,
naturally, you tend to kind of hit a wall. But for me, if I'm passionate enough to try to break through that wall, because I see something on the other side of it, I'm just gonna keep going. But I do have a better half in my fiance that do tell me to sit my behind down. So I have to learn to listen in that regards. But it's hard when you just want to be creative and you want to exhaust so much of your creative arts to the world. And I also do what I do simply because, yeah, you know, people like being in front of the camera and being a star and stuff like that. But see, if I can help you become that star, that's where you go back to talking about purpose. Because see, now my purpose is to write this stuff so I can film some of this stuff and put some of these people that have the passion to want to shine in a position to where they can shine.
What about, this is full time with you then, right?
Almost. I'm getting close, you know. I haven't hit that big break yet, you know, to say I can just get up every day at my leisure and do exactly what I want. I'm getting close, though. Getting close.
Have you ever reached what we call maybe a glass ceiling that you can go any further? You haven't reached that glass ceiling yet?
Nah, man, I'm not trying to even reach that ceiling until, like, I'm just so tired. You know, the thing about that statement is I got people around me that will not allow me to do that.
Okay.
They're going to make sure that I stay creative as I always am, but twist it a little bit if I have to, push the envelope when necessary, be daring, you know, be willing to learn. Like a lot of the cats that I'm around, my small crew, I learn from them, and they're a lot younger than me, but I learn from them. You understand? So that's why, you know, I think that glass, I ain't gonna have to worry about that.
You know, we hear so much about racism in this country and part of the world, I guess, but in the field that you're in, though, have you experienced or had an opportunity to experience any racism?
Well, for my own personal productions, we don't allow nothing to interfere what we do, especially something like that. You know, that just don't happen when we shooting and filming. Now, when I go on other sets where I'm hired to, you know, help out behind the screen and, you know, stuff like that, I do witness some things, hear some stuff. I see the way people are treated. You know, I see the way people talk to certain workers or certain departments. You know, I've even had a situation with somebody to where I just got uncomfortable and just decided to not be in that environment. The racial aspect of it is not something that's straight up told to you. You just see it in different actions and the way people do certain stuff. Not necessarily say stuff, but you can, through the actions of what people do, and, you know, some of what they say, it's indirect. It's not a lot of times it's not direct, but it's indirect. A lot of times I'll be like the only brother in that environment.
Okay.
I'll be like only one of two brothers in that environment.
Okay.
You understand? So you have to work even more harder to show that you can do what you're supposed to be in there helping with, and you just got to be aware of stuff, man. You just got to be aware of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is. I always wonder about this. This is an area where you're individually, you use your talents, and you don't have to depend on anyone else. If you fail, it's up to you. It's up to you to succeed or fail. Right? You don't have to depend on anybody else.
Yeah, I have to depend on my passion to just want to do as much as I can. I'm going to need people, obviously. I never can do any film production, for example, by myself. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm always going to need people. When it comes to writing a book, though, I'm going to still need people. I'm going to need an editor. I'm going to need somebody to format it. I'm going to need somebody to publish it. I'm going to need... See, if I tried to do all that myself, and you had mentioned earlier about burning out, I would truly be burnt out, man. There's no way I can do all of that by myself. At a point, I just need to be creative and work on the creative aspect and not put so much emphasis on trying to wear 13 and 14 different hats.
We mentioned about funding, though, but you mentioned about coming out of your pocket and so forth, but ultimately, though, you wouldn't be able to hire all those people, right? You have to have, to get funding to, you ever try to think you have to get a loan or something to carry you until it comes to fruition?
I ain't messing with no loans, man. I would rather just do it from, grassroots rather than get a loan. But I've always thought about what ways can I, use other people's money for my productions. That's part of sponsorships, things of that nature, donations, things, stuff like that, raising money. And I have to learn how to do it. I don't fully know how to do it. Any idea that I think that I know how, I use to the best of my ability, but there's so much of that to learn. That's what I say. There's so much of everything to learn, man. And even if I'm not the best at it, at least I want to have the knowledge of it to learn it.
Is one of your marketing, your T-shirts, is that one of your marketing tools, raise funds?
Yeah, trying to raise funds with T-shirts like this, letting people know that the project's out there by exposing the title, putting the word out there. Word of mouth is so powerful. Just making sure that people are aware of it, like this here. That's what we have. It's called Eyes from Eden. You guys, you go on eyesfromeden.com. When you go to eyesfromeden.com and purchase your general admission tickets, you'll get a 25% discount when you purchase them. And there's a lot of other things on the website, like movie trailers, interviews, pictures. You can hear music from the movie. There's a lot going on. So, yeah, we're marketing this thing, man, like we're doing a Hollywood premiere, man. We're trying to bring Hollywood, so to speak, to our town.
You mentioned Stone Cold. You want to tell us about it?
Stone Cold, which is my first novel.
Okay.
Stone Cold, my first novel, published by Black Bag Mafia. Shout out to Joe Awesome. What inspired me to write this book was, one, I always wanted to write a book, but I wanted to write something that had meaning behind it. Now, if you recognize this cover, it has boxing gloves, has guns, and then it has drugs. So it all embodies everything. It's a story of how an ex-Golden Glove champion takes on the local gun trafficker, and he defeats that and to change his community. So he brings boxing back to his community where there was littered with drugs and guns.
How long did it take you to write your book like that?
Approximately about 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
Try to fit it in between writing script or preparing a screenplay, working at the time, and then I would just try to come home and just knock out 1,000 words here, 1,000 words there until I completed it. And it just kept me creative, you know.
Now, you mentioned one of the answers to one of the questions. You say right in between time, you have a part-time job or something?
Yeah, what I do mostly is I'm working on film sets, like for Chicago PD or Chicago Fire or Empire, stuff like that. I'm working behind as a set grip, helping out on set. So when I'm not doing that, then I'm just at home with my fiance trying to plot new strategies on getting businesses or getting business. She does makeup, special effects makeup. I do videography and stuff. So we just create different streams of revenue, and I have the one with the union working as a grip that when I feel ready, I want to go and do some work there, I can do that.
Most of your work, is it fiction or nonfiction?
Most of it is a little bit of both. I kind of put a little. It can be nonfiction with a fabrication of something else to kind of bring a fiction to it. But most of it is fiction. A lot of it is fiction. I just, at times, whenever I've had something that was kind of nonfiction, I fabricated a little bit, though.
Very good. Okay. What about your screenplays? Do you, first of all, how long does it take to write a screenplay?
If you're consistent, like you asked me, do I have a job, part-time job? Okay. Like that. Now, if I didn't have that.
Because I know you have to eat.
You got to eat, right? If I didn't have that job or a place where I have to go to bring home some money, it probably would take me about a month and a half to write a good, full novel and stuff, staying at it, yep.
So have you tried to sell any of your screenplays?
No, not yet. Maybe after like my 5th or 6th independent film, because I'm going to make my own stuff.
Okay.
That's not going to wait for nobody. That's just not something I don't think is necessary. Just go out there and do it. So if that time comes, I'm going to write screenplays. So if I feel as though I think I got something that if a bigger budget had it, could make it work, I might pitch it, you know. But yeah.
Is the man that endureth temptation. But when he is tried.
Since you do all the above, you
shall
write,
receive the crown of life.
Direct.
Oh, hi, I'm Luciana. Nice to meet you.
Just met her. She could be psycho, crazy, anything, man.
The girl is sucking out your soul.
Mama, she ain't doing nothing but making me realize what I've been missing my entire life. Don't come at me with no God stuff, dog, because you ain't even about that life. Oh, yeah? What life you about? Living day after day in a box?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
You always do.
The devil is a master of deception, and he puts things and people in our lives that look good to us, but are not good for us.
How much do you have? I got about 900.
Mom, I'm just sick of...
All right. Tickets on deck, y'all. Come check us out November 22nd. November 22nd. Eyes from Eden at the fabulous historic Genesee Theater in Waukegan.
How many people do you expect to be there?
Close to 1,000.
Okay. Genesee has a capacity of?
Genesee is 2,400 seats.
Wow.
So 1,000 people would be a delight for sure.
Let's go back to your first movie, Music Son. What inspired you again to write that film?
I just wanted to show growth in my development as a filmmaker. After just filming just a lot of street stuff, I wanted to try something different. I wanted my mom and them and everybody else's mom, aunties to enjoy something that I created that wasn't vulgar and stuff. I wanted to be more mature content. And so that time around, I said, you know what, it'll be my first time doing a full length. I had done nothing but shorts. So I just was all the way inspired to just do a full length and do something different. And then the fact that when it was complete, you know, I just wanted to show the world. And then I didn't realize how powerful a movie was until after I premiered it, and I had people come up to me saying that one of the characters reminded them of somebody that they knew, whether it was a family or friend member. You know, that it just told me how powerful movies can be.
What about laughter and so forth? Was that your direction to make people laugh and so forth? Is that, or do you more than the serious type of films?
You know, the thing with laughter is some people consciously try to make content that is straight up laughter and comedy. Okay, romantic comedy. Okay. You can incorporate laughter and comedy, you know, when necessary, sometimes in a drama, for example. This movie has a lot of comedic moments, a lot of comic relief, but it's the timing of when it comes. So it's sporadic, but when it comes, it's almost like needed. So I try to balance things out. If it's the content that's kind of serious and you know, drama and stuff like that, I want that to shine, but I want you to get some entertainment value with the comic relief too.
Your first film, the music was that Music Son. Where was that filmed?
That was mostly filmed in North Chicago.
Oh.
We filmed, we shot maybe a scene at the Kenosha Beach, but aside from that, it was primarily in North Chicago.
What kind of recognition did you receive?
Great recognition. The community was thumbs up with it. We got great support. People were just excited. It was something new, something different that hadn't been done in this area. So people, they received it well. They gave it good marks.
Well, we always talk about challenges, you know, that we receive. You've been writing for about 10 years. Tell us about some of the challenges. I'm sure you could develop a whole program on challenges. Because I know nothing comes easy.
Yeah, it's so true. The challenges, for the most part, when it comes to filmmaking, is making sure that all the cast and crew can make it to set at the same day that you have the actual location. As an independent filmmaker, that's so difficult because, again, this is not everyone's primary source of income. They have to go work. So getting these schedules balanced out to make sure we're all in one place is the biggest challenge I've had. When I get what I need, I just go home and slice it and dice and do what I got to do with it, you know, to get it ready. But just actually getting everyone together, that's a really big challenge.
Do you improvise a lot, or is it you know, scripted?
Most of it is scripted. Okay, our short film that we did last year called The Creep Spot was improv. We just gave the situation and had enough confidence in the actors and actresses that they can pull off quality dialogue. But all of my film projects, the full lengths, they're scripted and with a tiny bit of improv.
Sound like a challenge there.
Yeah, I mean, but I give them some freedom though. I don't want people to feel confined like they gotta say, well, sir, I did everything. You know what I mean? I don't want people to feel like they gotta say it word for word. You know, you want to give them some leeway when they're doing the dialogue.
Well, what type of recognition did you receive after your first movie?
The first one was good. The second one, Let's Shake on It, received a little bit more praise, so to speak, because I guess the different content, more people came out. And again, we just tried to make sure the content was more mature and show another side. It was really all about growth. It's all about growth when I started doing the full features.
You said you had been in this area in Lake County 20 years?
20 years.
20 years. You felt you would have gotten the same reception that you done it in Chicago?
I don't believe so, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
At the time of me trying to do something different with my life, I wasn't even thinking about
okay.
this stuff.
Okay.
So who knows what I would have been doing. Number two, in this area, it's a lot easier to do stuff like this because you're not going up against, you're not in competition, so to speak, with so many filmmakers to get recognition for your work. In Chicago, there's a lot of people trying to do it and stuff. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't have been one of the people that have gotten recognition while in Chicago, but it's easier here being that it's a smaller market and not many people are even attempting to make movies. So it made it a little bit easier for me for those factors right there.
Well, you have to tell us a little about Stone Cold synopsis there. Tell us, go into that. We've been talking about the others there, but just a bit more about it.
Well, I'm proud of Stone Cold because, again, it had a message of nonviolence or stopping violence with the use of going back to just fighting. Use your hands. Instead of shooting, start shooting with your hands again. You could live to see another day. And the way I wrote the book, I had a twists and turns in it. It's a really good read if you're really trying to, learn about forgiveness, learn how to accept people when they've done, things that hurt you, and how change is possible. Change is possible just because people dying from the gun violence don't mean that's going to always happen. If people try to do some different things and make a difference in the community, you never know what happens.
So you would encourage, you still have family there, right?
In Chicago, yeah. My mom
so you would encourage people to leave Chicago and develop their talents?
I would say that. I would say if you really want to try to, if you are an actress, for example, or actor, okay, Chicago does have a scene for you, but if you really want to try to see what else is out there, you need to go where the action is really popping, like Hollywood, like Atlanta, like New York. You need to just venture out there to see what, at some point you're going to have to jump out the window and hope when you pull your parachute that mug open up. You know what I mean? But you don't never know if it's going to open until you jump. And that's the thing that people got to understand. You can stay here for some while and do what you got to do. You can pretty much hone in your craft. If you find success here, that's fine because you're pursuing it. But after a while, you have to jump outside your comfort zone and to see what else is out there.
Now, sometimes education is the key. If you survive Chicago and get you good education, then actually it will lead you out of Chicago to somewhere else. You go where the market is at.
Yeah, you can. I mean, man, if you're really trying to do it, Chicago is a great place to be. Again, they got a lot going on there. You could really blossom in Chicago. After a while, though, you just have to see what else is out there. Learn as much as you can, because when you're on set and when you're doing, when I'm doing filmmaking and when I'm on anybody's set, my set, I try to learn too. I just try to learn. This filmmaking is a forever learning process. You're going to always be a student of it. I don't care if I'm 30 years in the game. I know it's something that I still got to learn. These first 10 years were just off passion and just doing what I think I know. Somebody's going to tell me some stuff that's going to blow my mind. That's the stuff you look forward to.
Now, your actors and so forth, they're part-time. They have full-time jobs. They just with you part-time because they're not full-time.
Yeah, they're not full-time. Most of them are just like everyday people. They work, got jobs, and they find time to film whenever we get a chance to film. They find time.
What about criticism? Do you get a lot of criticism in the work that you're doing?
Oh, it's going to be loads of criticism, man. For any type of literary work, any type of filmmaking work, you're going to have a lot of that. You got film critics all day. When you post your stuff on Amazon or a book or a movie, you're going to get critics.
How does that affect you, though? Anyway, you just keep going? And
you gotta have thick skin, because you can't please everybody. You just have to do your best. When you put the work out there for the public to enjoy, you hope they receive it with you know, with good remarks and stuff like that. That's what everyone wants. But when it comes back that this person didn't like this or didn't give it the highest remark because of whatever reason, okay, all right, man, I wish I could have, but you know, they took the time to read it or they took the time to watch it. So again, you just want your best foot out there, your best quality of work out there. And if they don't receive it like you felt they should, that does not, you should just always keep going.
You do screenplay as, I should say, what's different about writing a screenplay as opposed to doing a complete novel?
Well, a screenplay, you don't have to be necessarily as detailed when you're writing it, okay, because it's a lot of it's dialogue centered with some breaks showing the action of the characters. But when you're writing a book, you have to be really detailed because what your perception of the story is now has to be whatever their perception of what you're writing down. So your detail has to be pretty keen so they can really invest into what your words and what your story is. And you have to, it's just a lot more typing. There's a lot more words into getting a good novel off as opposed to getting that screenplay. You know, you probably like double or triple times the words, word count for an author as opposed to just writing say a 90-minute screenplay. It's just a little bit more detail in authorship.
I mentioned about Stone Cold before, you know, but tell us about what inspired the cover art to the book?
Well, the cover art was inspired just by wanting to make sure that people understand that you can solve problems with the gloves, as you see, with the gloves and everything. You can see right there, and then this is the guns that's showing that's the problem. So I was just inspired by just trying to mend the two, seeing that the gloves stand out more than the guns and stuff. So, but one thing I want to get to, Eyes from Eden, www.eyesfromeden.com, November 22nd at the Genesee Theater. Showtime is at 8 p.m. Eyesfromeden.com is where you need to be. I got tickets right here. Tickets are $20 in advance. If you go on eyesfromeden.com and purchase your general admission tickets, you'll get a 25% discount on your tickets. All right? Come check us out.
Fantastic. You know, in addition to community forum, how active are you in the community, though? Is Cornell Ford known in the community? That kind of helps too, though.
Well, I guess I could say, you know, when people reach out to me and call for a service, I guess that can kind of say people know me. You know, they want me to come out and do a promo video or shoot a video or help them with something. You know, I've been fortunate enough to you know, get that treatment for, you know, over 10 years. So, you know, I guess me being active has garnered some attention.
Well, looking back over your career, you're a young man, and you felt that you have a secondary profession that you're going to get into?
Well, pretty much it's all about writing and filmmaking. I just feel like that's what I'm going to be doing, you know, 50, 60 years old. You know, I just want to be able to do that what I love and have the comfortable ability to just do what I love doing at my leisure without much hassle. I think that's what a lot of people want.
Okay, I want to thank you very much, really, taking time for your busy schedule to be with us on Community Forum to let Lake County know who Cornell Ford is.
Yes.
And also that the great night, you want to mention that once more.
One more time.
Genesee Theater.
Genesee Theater, y'all. This is going to be one popping event. This is Eyes from Eden, www.eyesfromeden.com. November 22nd, Tuesday, November 22nd. Get your tickets at the Genesee Theater box office, Pope's Florist on Grand, or you can go online to www.eyesfromeden.com. This is going to be a great movie for everyone.
And we have a special night tonight. We have guests from Chicago come out to see you, but no relatives of yours. But
it's all right.
They want to come out and
it's all right.
And hear Cornell Ford. We heard people talking about a person that we should know from Chicago, Illinois. A friend of ours, Chantel Holman, is a well-known person with us in this area, and her niece Juanita Chester. We have the grandchildren. It's that Diamas. We have Isaiah, and we have Natalie, and the one that sponsored them to get out here, the driver, Paul Salisbury. We're all happy that all of you came out and hear the presentation along with the Lake County audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.